Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And thank you guys once again for joining the 9 Innings podcast hosted by Kevin Thompson of 9i Capital Group. Thank you guys for joining us. As I always say, subscribe to this channel. As I always say, go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at info@9icapitalgroup.com. Send us your questions, or you can go to the website at www.9icapitalgroup.com. Schedule an appointment. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, and engage. And that's what we're here to do today. We have a wonderful, wonderful guest, a TCU legend. This is for Horned Frog Nation, Mr. Johnny Collins. Johnny Collins, TCU legend, Hall of Famer, Johnny Collins. Let's get it. We have Johnny Collins on the 9 Innings podcast today. Johnny, thank you for taking some time just to speak with us a little bit about finance, a little bit about just everything that's going on today, man. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Man, hey, so before we get started, I want to talk to you about TCU because when I look at all the accolades you have from TCU and what Horned Frog Nation means for not only just for you, but just for the Fort Worth area in general.
Yeah.
I mean, talk to me a little bit about TCU, what it means to you. And because we both kind of went there at the same time. If you don't know, I was there only for a semester, so I consider myself a Horned Frog. But tell me a little bit about, your time at TCU before we get started in the nuts and bolts of this thing.
Well, my time athletically was amazing, man. I mean, it started with my freshman year, just all the way into graduation up until now. I just had an amazing experience athletically, and we achieved a lot of good stuff and made a bunch of great memories and friends. Most of them I still talk to weekly, if you will. So, and then I grew up right down the street from TCU. So it was just kind of an extension of really, I hate to say it this way, but it's really kind of an extension of who I am, how I was raised. And it's a big part of my life. So, look, man, I don't know what else to tell you. I've been a frog for a long time. Long before I was at TCU, I was a Horned Frog.
Well, I'll tell you that. I mean, you and I both came up when there was maybe 5 or 6 buildings on campus, right? They had that astronomy building where they had, it was just nothing but a couple of buildings, a football stadium, and that was it. I mean, back in the days when we were there, I mean, I don't know if most people remember this. You could go to Taco Bell and get a free TCU ticket. They would just let you go to the game. It was crazy.
You didn't even need to go to Taco Bell. You could just walk in.
Hey, but not anymore, man. Not anymore because, hey, congratulations to the Horned Frogs this year. An incredible season. Of course, we wanted a different ending, but ultimately, national championship game. You can't ask for anything more than that.
Not at all, man. You get the endings you earned, and we actually received a well-deserved ending. Georgia was just Georgia. So absolutely, it is what it is.
Absolutely. Well, Johnny Collins on the 9 Innings podcast, we're talking to him about today, just a little bit about, just empowerment, right? It's Black History Month. And we have powerful individuals on this call today. We have 2 Black business owners, right? 2 African-American business owners. And this conversation today is going to be rooted around just seeing something different, right? Because yes, I played in the major leagues. Yes, Johnny was a great athlete, but it's bigger than that, right? Right now, we are business owners, and being in this light and having this microphone to be able to talk to our community about how we're ascending and providing value. Yeah, I think this is a crucial conversation, man. So I appreciate you having you today.
No, thanks again for having me. And I agree with you.
So, community national title. Tell me a little bit about your business. Tell me a little bit about what when it started and what made you go into business in the title industry.
What's funny about it? I actually lucked into the title business. It just kind of, I hate to say I fell into it, but in reality, I did. We were in the mortgage business, my business partner and I, Philip, and I wish I had a sexy story to tell you, but literally on a Friday evening, he was cussing at an escrow officer because they wouldn't close after hours for some
Mm-hmm.
blue collar folks that just didn't have the ability to take off work to get a closing done. And we were getting ready to miss our lot. And I said, you know what, man, screw it. Let's just open up our own. And man, 9 months later, we were up and running with a full-fledged title agency.
Mm.
And I mean, that's literally what happened. And we were too young and dumb to know that we probably should, stair step this in a slower way. We just dove right on in, and I mean, it's been a blessing. And we paid the price. We partnered with the wrong guys, and that thing went to hell in the handbasket. But we made a bunch of money, then lost a little money, a bunch of lawsuits, paid a bunch of money. But we're here and we're better for it. So I'm really excited about it. This all started back in about 2009. It came to fruition in 2010.
Yeah.
We started, which is our company now, Community National Title, back in 2013. And man, it's been a blessing. Like we've been able to do some beautiful things. I always say title is the only insurance that insures the past.
Mm-hmm.
Any other insurance that you get is going to insure the future. We insure the past. We basically make sure that when people go to close on a house or on a real estate transaction, we make sure that the agreement, which is documented by the contract involved, is followed to a T and keep both parties actually safe. We have a fiduciary duty to take care of the money and just make sure people do what they say they're going to do based on the contract. And we do that. And we've been able to do it really well. And here we are. So I'm thankful.
So what are some of the things that you wish you would have known before you walked off into the business? Like you just mentioned that, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things we didn't know. Would you have changed anything in regards to the preparation of just saying, we're just going to start a title agency?
I mean, that's kind of a trick question because absolutely I would have changed it. If I knew then what I know now, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had known then what I know now, I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
It's one thing that I believe in. I believe in just do it anyway. No matter what, don't let your lack of stop your in spite of, right? Just do it anyway.
Wow.
And sometimes I feel like you just got to do it anyway. And that'll keep you from thinking too much.
Yeah.
And getting to a place to where you just become afraid and then you become stagnant and then you just like, never mind, it won't work anyway. Yeah. If we had a thought about it and knew really what we were getting into, we probably would not have done it.
Wow. That's interesting because I get right now, we just transitioned over to our RIA, the same exact thing. There's a lot of things we just don't know and we're going to find out. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
But wait a minute. No. I'm not going to let you off the hook. You're so much better for it now than I was then. Like you're a grown man now with a track record and history behind you and in your favor.
Yeah.
Where we were just young, dumb, immature, arrogant. We did this probably out of arrogance. If they can do it, I know we can do it, kind of attitude, which there's an element of that I'm thankful for. Yeah. But if I had your hand, like now, I didn't know what I was doing then. Like you actually come to the table now with a wealth of knowledge. Yeah. So I think that's the difference. One is not better than the other as it pertains to the future. But in terms of the right now, I'd much rather have your hand.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the vote of confidence, man. That makes me feel good. So now the financial side of things.
Sure.
Interest rates have gone from 0 to almost 5 in a matter of 13, 14, 15 months. How is that impacting your business in regards to title loans or just the title industry in general in regards to people buying properties and when you're at 0 to 2% and people was probably buying and selling properties all day long, right? But now it's at 5, it becomes a little bit more difficult. So what do you guys see?
The misnomer is people are still buying properties all day long. Mm-hmm. Everybody is just not buying properties all day long. It's funny because I closed on a personal property. I did a refinance last month, and I think my interest rate was 6%. I was looking this morning on an investment property. That same interest rate is at now 5.1%. Yeah. So interest rates are coming back. People are kind of getting off the fence. Did it slow things down for us? Absolutely. It slowed things down for the industry because people were so shocked that interest rates shot up so fast. But the reality of it is guys, 7% is a really good interest rate. Yeah. It's just that we were in the 2 and 3s, and those were the greatest interest rates in the history of mankind, outside of 0.
Yeah.
So I think it's just people getting readjusted to know this is the new reality,
Mhm.
and that interest rates are not going to stay, in the twos forever. Just like they weren't going to stay in the sevens forever. They're starting to balance back out. Our economy is kind of starting to try its best to stabilize, and that could change tomorrow. Nobody has a crystal ball, and we didn't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But as it pertains to real estate purchases, our country needs people to go out and make the 30-year note strong. The best way to do that is to let folks buy houses. So I'm encouraged. I've never been discouraged throughout this process. I feel like even more folks are getting ready to refinance and purchase homes. So I think we're in a great place.
Awesome.
Getting better.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you seeing in regards to the demographics of things? Like, I know we have conversations around, well, yes, people are buying homes, but certain demographics of people may not be buying homes. Like, for example, people in our own community. I mean, we've seen it all through Fort Worth, where it's gentrified, where, yes, their communities are being built up, but they're pushing certain individuals out. So in regards to the demographics, are you seeing changes there, or are you just seeing more of the same where, like, well, yeah, people are buying homes, but certain communities are being pushed out because of whether it be rates or just cost in general?
Well, before we go black or white,
Yeah.
let's talk about the haves and the have-nots.
Gotcha.
Right? People that have been exposed, that understand the rules of money, are doing what they need to do to protect their financial interests, right? And I don't personally believe that that'll ever change. I feel like folks that understand kind of how the money game works, they're going to position themselves in a way to where they can succeed, today and on down the road. As it pertains to, let's just say, Black folks, right? There's a segment of people that know, and then there's a segment of people that don't know. And the underserved communities, whether they're Black, white, brown, they will always be underserved until they move to a place to where they know. So to answer your question specifically, sure. Even the Bible says the poor will always be with us. But what I want to highlight is there are a lot of people that are not necessarily poor in mind, but they don't necessarily even know that they have access to the information. So because of that, they end up, kind of lagging back to the back of the pack, if you will, when it comes to home ownership and home purchasing power. I think it's more of a case where guys like us have to do a better job, even if it's a sacrifice of making sure that people are exposed to the information and the knowledge on what to do and when to do and how to do and where to do. I think that's kind of our duty as we move up the success ladder.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys are listening to the 980s podcast, hosted by Kevin Thompson, founder of 99 Capital. We are on with Johnny Collins of Community National Title. Johnny, a couple more questions here. So personally, you've seen yourself, go from young, immature kid, like you just mentioned, and now you're having business partners and the business in general, like bringing on individuals where you're bringing on staff and everything like that. What would you say is the hardest part of Johnny's day? Like what is it? Because in my mindset, I'm thinking, man, like I have to do well because I want to make sure my man's family is okay, right? Like you have staff and all that other stuff. So what's some of your biggest concerns on a daily basis running a business?
Man, managing people.
Yeah.
Managing people. I'm just going to answer your first question. Managing people is the toughest part. Forget about let me tell you this. People will always be fickle, just like you are and I am, because depending on how our morning starts can have a strong impact on how our day ends. If we don't have, the intestinal fortitude, the emotional maturity, all the buzzwords to fight through it. So I think my biggest thing is just managing people and make sure people are actually stay committed to the task at hand. And not just that, but remember to give our clients an experience. That's been my toughest thing. And it's off the back of this pandemic. There's been a great, like, this movement of burnout, man. In my business, we went from being what we thought really good in terms of having business to being busting out the seams. The business has stretch marks on it now, right?
Yeah.
We carried all we could carry. And it's like, now we're still recovering from that. And people need time to just regroup and, get their emotional lives together, because it's tough to keep the client happy. And then you may have 4 or 5 different clients on one transaction. And then you have the vendors, then you have everybody else. So you might have 12, 13, 14 people on one transaction, and juggling the emotional baggage of people, the emotional expectations, or just the expectations in general, and curing problems and issues. That's a challenge. I mean, I'm sure you can relate in your own business. You help somebody get 16%, by giving them a tip, or just keeping them in something as fundamental as 8%, and they want 40%, right? And it's like, where are you basing these expectations from? This is not even real life. Yeah. But somebody told them around the water cooler they're getting 40%, and they want to make sure you do that. Or they want to buy, $12 million worth of life insurance for $200 a month. It's like that the math is not mathing on what you're saying. And you have to learn how to tell people that in a nice way, while not running them off or calling them stupid, all at the same time.
Yeah. Full disclosure.
So managing people.
Full disclosure, those returns were represented by Mr. Johnny Collins, not Kevin Thompson.
not Kevin Thompson. They look, and that's what you have to make sure, because see, people now take what I said and say that you said it, and guarantee that you said it, and say that you guaranteed it. It's like, that's totally not the case.
The whole world right now is fickle, man. I don't know what to do, what to say. I'm just kind of keep it compliant right down the middle, man. At a point in time in the future, everybody's gonna be saying the exact same thing. I remember there was a reporter in New York. They were saying, Kevin, you're the king of cliches. Hey, play it one game at a time.
One game at a
give
time.
100%.
Step by step, day by day. I get it, man.
They said, Kevin, we don't like talking to you. That's all you say. I was like, hey, man, I'm not giving you any meat on that bone. I'm just kind of just giving you the day by day, man. Hey,
absolutely,
man. Thank you for this, man. This is a powerful conversation. One more question. So from a business owner perspective, what is it that you're looking to achieve outside of just growth? Like at what point is Johnny going to say, you know what, like we're here? Is there like a size you guys are looking for? Or is it just basically saying, you know what, it's time for someone else to take over? Like what is that turning point? Or will you recognize that turning point?
Man, you asked about 3 different questions. First of all, I believe in succession planning. And, at this stage of our business, we have somewhat of a plan, but it's not something that's, that I want to put in place right now, right? Or that I want to have to use.
Yeah.
Right now, man, I don't see a place to where we have enough, or where we've made enough. We do have numbers that we use for just indicators.
Yeah.
Both predictions, goals, things that we can use, just from a data dump or data, grab, right? But for the most part, man, I really kind of just I'm doing this for legacy right now, right? I want to do something that will outlive me, and that will impact people in a way in which, when they experience us from a business perspective, they will be better for it. And it's kind of similar to some of your core values, right? Just making an experience for clients that helps them, makes them better, and promotes success beyond finances. Just in the way that we think, in the way that we move, in the way that we plan. It's just got to be bigger than just the money. I think that's a mistake that a lot of business owners make. We do it for the money, and quite frankly, once you start making some money, you'll realize it was never really about the money after it was made. It's about personal growth and the growth of your people. So legacy. I want to do it for legacy. When I die, or if I were to die on the job, God forbid, if I were to die on the job, I want to build something that's going to continue on and continue to promote a lifestyle, not just for my family, but for my teammates and the people who really make this business of Community National Title and Ebony Mitzvah work. So I'm here for the glory, if you will.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I have a prayer where I pray, Lord, bless my lineage, my legacy, my lifestyle, my livestock. So I want to do it for something bigger than just, the money.
You said a mouthful there, because what most business owners don't understand is the experience that you give to your clients, right?
Yeah.
They'll sell something and they'll just move on. And that's why you're seeing people jump from place to place, because they want that experience. They want that, hey, this guy, this person, this individual cares about me outside of me doing business with him, but they legitimately care about me. They ask me questions about my family. They ask me questions about, hey, how did last weekend go? Or they catch up with me on my birthday, anniversary. They know these different things. Those little things can make you a lot of money, which is great. I mean, it's just, if business owners could understand the core value of just service, to be a service oriented individual, it's not about what you know. It's about how you serve someone. That's just my opinion.
We call it the soft work in my organization. You have to do the soft work. And a lot of times for business owners, it's hard for us to translate soft work to dollars in our mind. We have this process where we talk about order to cash. And the significance of that is just making sure that everybody in the organization understands their role and their duties in the order to cash process. And the order to cash process involves a full, all-encompassing experience that's both, tangible paperwork and getting all your data back to what you just said, knowing something about the client, knowing something that's meaningful, about the client. You can see in the background for Valentine's Day, we made a little wall and we did a bunch of other stuff. You want to make sure that you build episodic memories for folks, and that they'll remember it forever, based on their experience. So that's what it's about, man. You dead on.
Well, Johnny, thank you for this time, man. I appreciate it. Again, once again, you're listening to the 980s podcast hosted by 9i Capital Group. And we're with Johnny Collins, TCU legend, business owner, community national title. So Johnny, I'm gonna give you the last word. Anything you want to leave the podcasters with today? What give them something that they can leave with in regards to your messaging, because your messaging by far has been great.
Well, you know what? It's funny you asked that. First of all, I wish we had more time. There's a phrase I always say, and I've said it today: don't let your lack of stop your in spite of. I think a lot of times we get frustrated and we get bogged down in the things that we see because of our right now circumstances. And my message would be, don't let your right now circumstances stop you from really going out and achieving, your ultimate goals, because somebody's breakthrough, somebody's legacy, somebody's next steps, in their life is tied to your success. What I realize is I have to go out and be successful on some level, because I have, up to 90 families that are depending on, me to make the right decisions and to do the right things. So it's not just about me. It's not just about what I don't have in order to succeed. It's about the people that we're supporting and the future me. I do all of this for the future me, the old man in me, the old woman in my mom, the old woman in my wife and my children. Yeah. That's who I'm working for. So keep that in mind.
Hey, appreciate the time today, my friend. Thank you for all the support. And again, yes, hopefully we'll meet up for a good cigar here pretty shortly.
Hey, look forward to it.
All right. Talk to you soon.
God bless. Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys once again for listening to the 980s podcast. We had Johnny Collins, a TCU legend and owner of Community National Title, on today. A phenomenal person. Thank you guys for listening. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, and engage. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We have more interviews coming. Don't forget to get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple Books and Amazon. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go to info@9icapitalgroup.com. Send us your questions, or you can go to the website, www.9icapitalgroup.com. 980 still works as well, so you can use that as well and schedule an appointment. Thank you guys. Stay humble, stay safe. We'll see you next week.